The Babysitter Nightmare. My name is Sarah, a 22-year-old girl from Brooklyn. Since my parents divorced when I was young, I moved in with my grandma, and I've been living with her ever since. Although my mother visits us every now and then, I don't even know my father. Currently, I attend college majoring in arts, something I really enjoy, but it's not cheap, and I don't like asking my grandma for too much. She has done a lot for me over my life already. To make some extra money, I decided to offer babysitting services since many couples around here are really busy. As I attended classes only from Sunday to Tuesday, I have a lot of free time to make an extra buck. Babysitting seemed easy, just watch some kids, get them to sleep, and then wait for the parents to return. Or, that's what I thought until that night on October 18th. I had advertised my services as a babysitter on Facebook, and that fateful night, my phone rang around 6 p.m. The parents on the other end asked if I could make it to their house by 7 p.m. and sent me the coordinates to their suburban home. As I pulled up to their 2-story house, I noticed its light gray exterior and striking red front door. The front yard was immaculately manicured, however the street outside was poorly lit, casting eerie shadows on the pavement. As I walked through the door, the Robinsons greeted me warmly and showed me around their lovely home. The first floor had a cozy living room with plush sofas, an open-concept dining area and kitchen with state-of-the-art appliances, and a beautiful backyard surrounded by a wooden fence. Upstairs, the master bedroom was spacious with an attached bathroom, and a small guest bedroom had an adjacent bathroom. The young couple seemed to be beautiful and kind people. They had to attend a relative's funeral in another state, which was an 18-hour trip, and that's why they needed me to look after their kids. I met the children, John, who was 10, and his younger sister, Amelia, who was 6. They were lovely kids, and I didn't have any issues with them. As soon as the parents left, I started playing a board game with the kids on the couch, watching some TV, and then started getting them ready for bed when the home phone began to ring. At first, I thought it was the parents calling to check up on us, but when I answered, there was no response from the other end. This went on for a while, and every time I picked up the phone, it was dead silent. I started feeling uneasy and decided to message the parents on Facebook, asking if they were the ones calling. After about 20 minutes of the home phone constantly ringing, the parents replied saying it wasn't them and that it might be someone just playing tricks on us. The ringing finally stopped, and I breathed a sigh of relief. I put the kids to bed, kissed them goodnight, and turned on their nightlight as they had requested. I planned to watch a movie or two before going to bed myself. But then the phone began to ring again. This time, when I answered it, I heard heavy breathing on the other end. I was freaked out, but tried to convince myself that it was just a prankster and hung up. The phone rang again, and this time, the caller asked,
"Did the kids go to bed?"
I assumed it was the homeowner checking in and confirmed that they did. However, the caller didn't say anything else, and just hung up. I started to feel a real sense of unease. About 30 minutes later, I received a Facebook message from the couple asking if the children were behaving and had gone to bed. I responded, "Yeah, I already told Mr. Robinson on the phone. They went to bed like 2 little angels." They replied with a single question mark, and I added, "on the phone." Their next message was chilling. "We did not call you, sweetheart. What do you mean?" And as if this wasn't terrifying enough, a loud knocking began on the front door. That's when I realized something was terribly wrong. With my heart racing, I looked around the dimly lit room to get my bearings. The air in the room felt thick and suffocating. Goosebumps covered my arms, and I had a feeling that I was being watched. I didn't know what to do, but I knew I had to protect myself and the children. I was utterly shaken to the core, as if a bolt of lightning had struck me right in the chest. The time was around 11:30 p.m. by this stage, and the darkness outside didn't help the situation. The room I was in was just as dark, with no lights on except for the flickering of the TV screen. I didn't even dare to open the door or ask who it was that had knocked, for fear of what might have been waiting outside. As I waited for the knocking to stop, my heart was pounding so hard that I could feel it in my throat. Finally, I mustered up the courage to peek outside through the window. But as soon as I did, there was a sudden knock on the glass, louder than the knock before, that made me lose my balance and fall to the ground. I felt as though I was on the verge of having a heart attack, and the fear that gripped me was like nothing I had ever felt before. With trembling hands, I closed the curtains and tried to convince myself that it was just a neighbor or something playing games. But then, the phone started ringing once again. I picked it up, but didn't utter a single word. The man on the other end of the line spoke again, saying,
I am home. Can you please open the door?
I knew deep down that it wasn't Mr. Robinson. The terror that had overtaken me earlier had only intensified, and I was certain that the stranger was trying to trick me into letting him in. So I mustered up all of the courage I had left and asked him in a shaky voice, "Who are you?" He hung up on me, leaving me with only the sound of my own rapid breathing and a dial tone. My heart felt like it was about to burst from my chest. It was beating so fast that I knew I had to check on the kids. As I slowly made my way up the stairs to their bedroom, I felt a sudden icy breeze hit my face. When I reached their room, I realized that the window was now half open. I was certain that I had closed it before putting the kids to sleep. When I looked out the window, the sight that greeted me almost made me faint with terror. In the dimly lit street outside, I could see a phone box with someone inside it. The person was staring directly at me, as if he had noticed my shadow because of the nightlight that was on. He stood there motionless, his eyes locked onto mine, and started waving at me. I felt like I was in a nightmare from which I couldn't wake up. I ran down the stairs as fast as I could, hoping to call the police for help. But as I reached for the phone, I realized the line had been cut. In that moment, I knew that I was truly alone and in danger. The knocking on the door began again. This time more aggressively, as if someone was trying to break it down. I sprinted back up the stairs, locked myself and the children in their room, and called the police from my cellular phone. I looked down at my phone, still in shock from the last message the Robinsons had sent me. I knew I had to stay calm for the kids. I quickly messaged the couple again, telling them that someone was outside, knocking on the door, and that I had locked myself with the children in their rooms. They replied immediately, telling me to lock all the doors and windows and don't move until the police arrive. The knocking continued, but I tried to ignore it and keep the children calm. My heart was pounding. It was becoming increasingly harder to breathe. I felt like I was going to pass out at any moment. Finally, I saw flashing lights outside, and I knew the police had arrived. I opened the door with hesitation, and a few officers rushed in, asking if we were okay. They searched the entire house in case the person had entered the premises, but they found no one. They suggested that it might have been a prank or a mistaken address, but I couldn't shake off the feeling that we were being targeted and watched the majority of the night as I saw the man in the phone box waving at me, like it was on purpose. The rest of the night was a blur. The couple came back early next morning and I told them everything that had happened. They were shocked and apologized profusely. I collected my pay, said goodbye to the kids, and left their house, feeling relieved but scared. I never offered babysitting services again. The incident made me realize how vulnerable we can be, even in seemingly safe circumstances.